everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Glossy Philosophy. My name is Jansen Binman. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel and give this video a thumbs up because today we are taking inspiration from one of the new Dior fall campaign looks, and I'm going to show you how to recreate that look using things that you probably already have, so stay tuned. I've already washed my face and done my skincare, so let's get started by neutralizing and prepping the face for makeup. First thing I'm going to do is grab my corrector from Bobbi Brown, take my ring finger and gently tap that underneath my eye or anywhere where I'm seeing a little bit of discoloration. I don't have a lot of redness in my face, so I don't need a green corrector, but I have found that her correctors do work really well if you have a little bit of redness around the nose or on the chin or through the T-zone as well. So I do have just a touch of redness right on the tip of my nose, so I'm going to get rid of that with that corrector, and if I have any extra, I'll just put it right there as well. Next thing we're going to do is prep our eyelids. So I'm going to take my NARS Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base, again on my ring finger, split it between the two, and put that all the way from the lash line all the way up to the brow. I've done quite a few treatments this morning on my face, so I'm going to give my skin just a little bit more time to settle, and I'm going to go in with my brows. So with the ANASTASIA Brow Definer, I'm just going in the same direction as my hair is naturally growing, and I'm filling in any gaps and making that brow hair just a little bit darker, a little bit more filled in, and then of course bringing it up and making those brows a little bit more symmetrical. Next, I'm going to start prepping my eyes for eyeshadow. So I'm going to go in with Lisa's Black Treacle, and you can tell that I really like this because it's almost gone. So I'm just gently going to lift up my lid and place this on the upper waterline. And we're going to kind of build on that idea of the one shadow and then kind of increasing it, almost like last week's tutorial, but many fewer steps. So first I'm going to go in with my Sonia Kashuk Tapered Crease into Samoa Silk. Just get my brush fully saturated, and I'm just going to do a wash of color all the way from my lash line into my crease. Something really great about a fluffy brush is that you can lay down color really quickly in just a sheer wash. And you'll also notice that I'm wearing one of the colors of the season, which is like roasted pecan or caramel, whatever you want to call it. So this will play really nicely with those browns that are really trending right now, and I'm really loving it. So just grabbing more when I need to and bringing that right up into the crease, into the socket. Using a little bit more of the tip of my brush now that I'm working in this area rather than the flat side of my brush. And it doesn't have to be perfect, we're just kind of setting down the base. I want Samoa Silk to peek through the more neutral browns that we're using. So this is really just kind of our setup, our one shadow setup. And as always, if you do love a one shadow look, doing something like this would be just fine. Throw in your mascara, throw in a liner if you want to, and get yourself out the door. If you are not an eyeshadow person, doing one eyeshadow is plenty, especially if you're kind of playing with your brush and how you're using it. You're gonna get the result of basically two shadows with one brush and one shadow. Just making sure everything is kind of nice and blended, always going in with a second clean brush. This is the 201 from BK Beauty. Softening those sides that have gotten maybe a little harsh just from using the one shadow. So we have a nice sheer wash of Samoa Silk. Now I'm going to go in with my 217 into Soft Brown and just neutralize that a little bit. Soft Brown has a little bit of pink in there, and if you're wondering what my inspiration for today is, if I haven't announced it already, is a look from the new Dior campaign for fall for the Olympics specifically, where they are really celebrating Paris, their makeup, because there's maps of Paris on all of the packaging and on the makeup itself, which I think is pretty cool. There's like tire tracks and specific buildings imprinted into the lipsticks and everything, and I thought this look was really wearable and also just a really fun way to dip our toes right into the new season. Now I'm going to take my pencil brush into Embark, and I'm going to place that, and then I'm going to blend out with one of my softer brushes. I'm almost creating my wing right now. I'm being very specific with where I'm placing this darker shadow. I'm going to wipe off my 217 that had the soft brown on there, and then I'm going to go in and just really, really lightly soften that. Now you could always do your liner with a darker shadow, but I would suggest using a smaller brush, something like the small angled brush from Sigma, and we can go ahead and do that. And then we can just kind of build our liner with a black and make it a little bit more rich, a little bit more intense. Or you can do it the other way. You can go in with a pencil or something else and then put the powder on top just to soften it. But having all of that, this interesting look, and it's still just really nice and soft. Makeup is definitely getting softer from either the grunge look that's kind of coming back. They're kind of calling it glam grunge, but I think it's just really nice because everything is just really nice and soft. So we've laid our groundwork, and now I'm going to go in with a Victoria Beckham Kajal liner. This one's really nice and soft. It's been trending on social media because of its softness, and I'm just going to make that a little bit deeper. This also helps with the longevity of the look because powders, especially if you're doing a lot of treatments on your face, using a lot of oils on the drier side in general, I would say, a powder liner will not last super long. So we're just adding a little bit more depth with the Kajal, but we're still keeping it really nice and soft. I'm just getting that right into the roots, and then I'll use the sponge on the other side to really soften that. In the Dior campaign, the liner was very soft. It was very evident, but it was still very soft. They probably used a Q-tip. So we're going to stop here. Before I do any mascara, I want to make sure that the rest of my face makes sense with what I've done already and see if I need to amp anything up before we finish the look. Because once we put on mascara, then it feels like the eyes are done and I don't want to fiddle with the eyeshadow anymore. So I'm going to shake up my skin tint from Lisa Eldridge. This is in T5. This has been such a beautiful product. I just got T6, which feels slightly more golden, so I think that's going to work really nicely in the fall. But I'm going to use it what I have first. So this is about as much as I put on, and I just work it into the skin. And because I've been doing more treatments on my face, this has just been such a lovely treat. If I need a touch up, it's also really, really great for touch ups throughout the day. If you feel like, because you are so dry, if you feel like things have completely disappeared, which I spoke about in my last video that was all about grunge, pink inspired makeup for stage or whenever you have a really long day. The skin tint is a fantastic product to just kind of keep in your makeup bag for those longer days. You can easily kind of wipe down the face, add a little bit of moisturizer back in, do this, and you feel like you have plenty of coverage to get through your day. I've been sort of saving my foundation for those days when I'm actually going to be on stage, or if I'm just feeling like I want more of a proper traditional makeup feel look for that day. But every day I've just been grabbing this skin tint and it's been plenty. Now I'm going to go in with my concealer, and I'm just spinning my wand from the Armani, putting it again on my ring finger, splitting it, and this is plenty. This is probably more than enough. So just being very light handed as much as possible. But my skin has still a ton of slip from all the oils that I used this morning and the exfoliation that I did. So it's quite easy to pop on, but it can feel like a bit much. So now I'm going to go in with the 108 by BK Beauty. It's just the softest teardrop shape brush, and it's dense enough so that it feels like it picks up anything that is unnecessary. It is synthetic, even though they've done a great job of dyeing these synthetic hairs to look like rabbit. It is synthetic, and just kind of picking up any extra that I need to throughout the face. But you can see all of my oils and moisturizer kind of peeking through. I'm playing around with a new moisturizer right now, so I'm not exactly sure how it's going to sit with the foundation, but that's real life, right? Now I feel like I'm able to set everything, and I'm going to use my big brush just really quickly, grabbing my Givenchy powder and morphing my brush as needed throughout my face to get into any nooks and crannies, and just not mattifying, but making the skin a little bit less glowy. I don't want to look sweaty, and I know that glowy skin is really in right now for fall, but for me, too much glow looks a little bit sweaty. I'm gonna grab my new blush from Dior, and this is the Nude look, and I'm loving it. It reminds me a lot of one of my favorite MAC blushes, but this one just feels like it goes on a little bit smoother, which is really lovely. So kind of on the angled tip of my brush, I'm just placing that on. I also feel like this color looks really great with so many different shadows, so it's kind of my favorite. Going in with Charlotte Tilbury's bronzer on the BK Beauty bronzer brush. Because we are wearing our toasted pecan sweater, we want to make sure that we have a little bit of that color up into our face as well. And even though we're going into fall, it doesn't mean that you can't still wear a little bit of bronzer. You're just not maybe going to be that bronze goddess that you were this summer, but it's still nice to give the face a little bit of dimension. And again, we've done so much brown on our eyes that it really brings everything together, bringing just a little bit down my neck just to coordinate everything. Now for the lips, I've been loving doing a lip pencil. This is the 1C from Lisa Eldridge with a lip balm, but if I'm going a little bit more true to the campaign, I'm going to use Kitten Mischief. So first off, I'm going to go in with my lip liner, and this is pretty much my lip shade. So we're just going to do this really quickly. Just doing a line to kind of set up the barrier for the lip product. And I do have a little bit of gloss from last night still on my lips. And then quickly filling in, but you can see this is pretty much my lip shade. By the way, this lip pencil in particular is probably my favorite lip pencil I've ever tried. It's just, I don't know. It's magical. It's amazing. Going in with Kitten Mischief. And you can see that the lips just look slightly fuller just because of that lip liner. It just adds some definition to the lip. It adds some separation from the lip to the rest of your skin. So even if you're going in with a color and you feel like it's not going to make a difference, it really does. And it also really helps with longevity. So we're going to bounce back to our eyes. We're going to just take in everything. And I think what I want to do is add just a little bit more embark up into my crease area so that we're making it just slightly more dramatic, but very lightly on the tip of my 217, going back in and just adding just a little bit, nothing too much. I don't want this to become a different kind of a look, but just a little bit. And then going back in with the 201 from BK Beauty and softening anything that got a little bit too harsh, because again, we're going a little bit softer this year, which I'm loving. And then to finish off the look on my 207 from BK Beauty, I'm going to take rice paper and put that right on that inner corner. We're starting to see this again in makeup, and this is kind of how I learned how to do makeup a really long time ago, was that you always put the lightest shade right in the corner and kind of blended it up into the rest of the eye look. And it's been a while because it's been taking main stage on the eye look, but now we're going darker with that little peak of brightness right on the inner corner. It's kind of fun to revisit old techniques. So finishing off the look, the absolute last thing we're doing is finishing off the look with our primer from Tarte, and then going in with Lights Camera lashes. And that is the finished look. Thank you guys so much for watching this Dior campaign inspired look. I thought it was a beautiful look, not only in the campaign, but beautiful also in real life. Don't forget to check out runways, magazine covers, and also your favorite makeup companies' campaigns every season, because there's a lot of inspiration there. I do fashion videos every Wednesday, beauty videos every Friday. Make sure you are following me on Instagram and watching the shorts in between, because I'm doing a lot of before and afters and have a lot of outfit inspiration for you to make your life a little bit easier and a little bit more glossy. And I will see you very soon in the next one. Bye!